everyone, this is Jasmine Malonson, and today I wanted to do a interesting little video on how to write poetry. So step 1, throw everything that you ever heard about poetry out the window. Anything that's kind of like negative or stereotypical, just take all that, just take it out of your head and just throw it out there. Just make it into a very clean state. Step 2, throw fear out the window. If you're ever kind of like nervous about how you're supposed to write poetry and this and that, you just kind of like worried a lot and you're not very confident about that, just let that go too, because there is no fear in poetry. It's not like, some type of competition or the Hunger Games or something like that. You're going to live and you'll be just fine. So throw that out the window too. So you just throw all that baggage about poetry and everything out the window. So that's basically, the first few steps. Here is a sub step. Before we see proceeding to step number 3, ask yourself this: do you really want to write poetry? Just really think about that. Like, do you really want to do it because you're very curious and you always wanted to, but you're afraid to do it, or you're just doing it just to kind of like show off or whatever, which isn't what you're supposed to do as a poet. If no, don't bother wasting your time struggling through it, because you will complain and you will be unhappy. And that's kind of annoying, because you'd be like, I just can't write poetry, it's impossible. Maybe because you're not feeling it. You're not doing it for the right reason. So accept that. But if yes, then we'll proceed to step number 3. What is important to you? Think about a topic that you're passionate about or concerned, whether it's kind of like animal rights or body image, maybe even a little bit of politicalness or spirituality. Just use whatever you want to talk about and just keep it in here, keep it in your head, and keep it in your heart, because that is basically who you are. You're letting yourself shine through the poetry with the topics that you're passionate about. And that's kind of like common sense, but super important. Step number 4, don't think but feel. This is super important. If you think too much before you write, it can be a lot of pressure, and then it's kind of like throws off the whole your flow of writing poetry. I do this myself a lot because I'm trying to write the next great poem, or nothing like that, but it may sound very articulate, it just sound awesome, but as a person in general, I do kind of think and worry a little bit too much, and I kind of need to fix on that. So just chill, just kind of feel with it, let it go with the flow. Step number 5, just write. Just write, write with a pen, pencil, a crayon, marker, whatever you have. Just write it down. Just write anything that comes to your mind. And a good tip is to think of it as if you're writing a diary. As maybe some diaries that kind of like, at least the one that I had for years and years, but anyways, some diaries kind of like have the lines in it, and it's kind of like short and compacted with the lines. So it's kind of like that. Let me explain it to you more. Let me read it out. If you're not writing, you are not writing a book. Just don't. No, you don't have to write like as if you're writing a novel or anything. And you're not writing an essay either. Just pretend as if you're writing in a diary. The lines are short and compacted, so it just leaves you to just jot down your thoughts. It doesn't have to be perfect, and throw that away and out the window, because poetry is not about perfection. A lot of people think that that's what it is, and you have to be a perfect person, or you have to be very highly intellectual or nerd or depressed or whatever to be a poet. Anybody can be a poet, and a lot of us have that potential, and we're all smart in our own ways. So that sounds weird too. So you gotta not think about that. It's about, expressing your feelings, your flaws, your opinions. It's just raw and real, and that's why you kind of get that type of feeling, especially with performance poetry or people who do slam poetry. It's very raw and real, and just like you're just spitting it out, and just anything that's come to your mind and comes to your heart. Also, another keyword that you need to associate when it comes to poetry: poetry is art, not an assignment. Not an assignment that you usually get it from school, and that's why you kind of hate it in the first place. But think of it as pure art, like painting a picture, doing photography, composing music, that type of stuff. So that's what poetry is. And a lot of people keep on thinking it's just articulate and assignment wise type of stuff, and yeah, it's way more than that. So I kind of wrote down for step number 6 is, again, don't think but feel. It's kind of the same thing before. This time, like, as you're writing, keep going, keep that feeling, that passion as you're driving forwards, as you're writing your poetry. Don't think too much. It can happen. Trust me, it can happen. You'd be like, I don't know what type of word I want to put on there or whatnot, but just don't think about that. Just keep on thinking. I'm about to say keep on thinking. Keep on feeling. Number 7. As soon as you get through writing your poem, try to read it out loud to yourself. You don't have to read it in front of your friends or your family or whatnot. Just read it to yourself. You can also just read it in your head, but I recommend reading out loud to yourself as much as you can. And the reason why I say that is because you'll be able to pick up on any type of rhythm or a certain type of flow to your poem. And do you notice it? Do you feel it? If you like it, then you can proceed. If not, then you can always go back and kind of fix some stuff in order for you to get that flow going. And that kind of leads to step number 8, and that is cut out unnecessary or extra lines or words so you can get to that flow. So I kind of explained that. Step number 9 is super important, and you got to listen to me carefully. A lot of people kind of don't do this a lot. Step number 9 is to be happy. And you're like, really, Jasmine? So all that hype just to say just be happy? I mean, of course. I mean, why not be happy? You created something. I mean, that's the best thing you can ever do in your life. You wrote down your poem and you're being creative. You're being yourself. You are a creator of your own will. Finally, we have step number 10. Keep on writing poetry. Keep doing it until it feels natural to you, that it's finally a part of who you are or a part of your daily routine. You can start off just writing 1 poem a month or 1 poem per 3 months or whatever, just once in a while. And then you do it per month, and then you do it once every 2 weeks, and then to each week. You might even do it each day. Just keep doing it until you really get the hang of it and you really start to really like it and appreciate it more. do it for yourself. Do anything for yourself, no matter what you do, besides, poetry. If you sing and dance, anything really, always do it for yourself. I would recommend just going to your local library, either on campus or just like a neighborhood library, and ask the librarian that you're just beginning to get into poetry, and ask for any suggestions. Something that's kind of like, simple, nothing too big or kind of like overwhelming. And that should help you out at first. And it might be hard at first because not a lot of people really get into reading poetry that much. I know for a fact that I need to work on that myself. I'm always like more of a writer than a reader technically, but I need to get to read some more poetry, so it'll help me out, get some ideas on like how do they write their poems or whatnot, etc., etc., and then I put my own spin on it, so you can do the same as well. YouTube is your friend. That means you can look up videos of people performing their poems, like slam poetry and whatnot. And I think like a great example of one channel that I know of is button poetry, which is basically kind of like showing all these different poets just reading their poems, but not reading. There's a difference between reading and performing, but I don't know if I described this in a different video before, but I'll explain that in another video. But they're just performing out loud, and it's like in different competitions in different cities, and it's really cool. So I recommend you just watch those type of videos and see how they put their feel into it, and you just put that in your own poetry. And if you want to do slam poetry yourself, definitely watch those videos for inspiration. And don't stress yourself. It takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight, and I think it's really great that you keep doing it for years and years, because you get better. Because I've been writing poetry since I was 14 years old, and I can see, I don't know, it's like totally drastic change, but I do see some change along the way of how I write my poems. And it can be the same to you. It's all about having fun, so don't stress about it. Remember, again, poetry is not art. I got it wrong. Poetry is not an assignment, it is art. So just let it go with the flow, and just have fun with it. Congratulations, you are now officially a beginner poet. Just follow these steps and you'll be fine. I really have faith in you, so go out there and just write your little heart out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And I would like what? Wait. And if you're interested in any more videos that relate to poetry or music, whatnot, you can go ahead and subscribe. I won't be able to just post a lot of stuff each week, because in reality I have a lot of things to do. I'm at school and getting my life together, and it's a lot of things going on. So I do it as much as I can, and I haven't really posted an original poem in a while, so I'm going to try to work on that. But other than that, thank you so much, and remember to be yourself.